PrEP is not just a gay man's pill.
Here's an option. Here is this extra suit of armor that we can bring into a relationship, and I don't have to have that mental fear.
Right. The fear for me was going to get tested. Like I used to just like sit there the whole time, like kind of shaking. Like
it is the single biggest advancement made in this disease state
For sure.
in the last 30 years.
Hello there, welcome to Plus Talk, where we get right to it. No holds barred. We're all about keeping it real, living life to the fullest without shame, without stigma, without limits. We are turning positive into a plus. So let's dive straight in. Today it's all about the case for PrEP. PrEP. Welcome my guest, Tyler Helms. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course.
Patrick Hartigan.
Hi.
And Joseph Kibler.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, PrEP. This is something we hear about, it's in the headlines a lot, but for those who don't know what PrEP is, Tyler, what is PrEP and how does it work?
PrEP is a pill, Truvada, that you can take as a preventative measure for getting HIV. So if you don't have HIV, you're having sex with men, multiple men, you take this and you have a 90% chance, according to the World Health Organization, of not transmitting or getting HIV.
What if you're a man who's having sex with women?
Then it's the exact same situation. You are in the same position if they are HIV negative, then you are lowering their risk, or they're lowering their risk of contracting the virus. All the same statistic, all the same information, it is literally no different.
It's interesting, I think we just cleared up one of the biggest myths out there straight away,
Yeah.
which is that PrEP is not just a gay man's pill.
That's right.
This is a pill that anyone who is sexually active can take to help prevent contraction of HIV. Guys, this is a really interesting topic because, as I said at the top, PrEP has been in the headlines a lot recently for lots of different reasons. Patrick, you're gay,
yes,
but you're HIV negative.
I'm HIV negative, and I'm gagged that I've never met a straight man that takes it.
I
And I have to admit, that's awesome.
Can we just clarify?
Actually, I am HIV positive. I'm positive from birth.
I see.
And so I have people or partners, or is the same thing, but
you sleep with women. You have sex with women.
So I am heterosexual.
I mean, and when you said never met a straight man who takes it, that could take on a whole other meaning.
That's
So
right.
That's a whole. That's a whole other episode.
Very good. I'm glad that we clarified.
Yeah, no problem.
But Patrick, you are you identify as gay.
Yeah.
But you're negative.
Yes.
When did PrEP come into your life, and how has it changed the way you approach intimacy? And I'm choosing the word intimacy carefully over hooking up or sex.
Sure. Yeah, I'm very actually grateful for PrEP. I mean, it's changed my life, intimacy related as well, in a very strong way. I was introduced to it when I was living in New York, and it was something I just kind of heard around the block. All these guys are starting to take this new pill that I didn't know very much about. And all I knew was that it gave you a stomach ache for kind of 3 months, and otherwise it reduced the risk of you contracting HIV. That's all I kind of knew. And it was something that immediately struck me because growing up in the South, like, HIV was the gay disease, and I had decades of hating myself as a gay man and being kind of led to believe that it was something wrong. So to know that all of this guilt and shame and all of these swirls that I was in that way could be kind of solved by taking this pill. I use the word solve kind of loosely. But I struggled because I would have relations with people, and the whole time I was just thinking, I'm going to contract it, I'm going to contract it. And I was so scared of just even like having the option of being in risky situations. And for me, taking PrEP was just, it was such a lifesaver for me that it, first of all, helped me to eliminate any of those very uneducated fears and start to educate myself on what it actually means to live in 2019 as HIV positive, HIV negative, and just being in the gay community and having different options at your hands to just live a more safe life.
And if I may just piggyback right off of that, for me on the other end of it, my life was, I'm going to give it to somebody. I'm going to give it to them. I'm going to be the weapon in their life that changes everything, and I know how that feels. And knowing that this is out there for me was a way to be like, here's an option. Here is this extra suit of armor that we can bring into a relationship, and I don't have to have that mental fear. that
Yeah.
mental block.
How did PrEP then really change the way you went into this and approached it? And what did it do for your self-esteem as someone living with HIV who no doubt faced a lot of stigma?
It's an extra book. It's an extra set of knowledge. It's another thing that let me bring people to this information and say, hey, it's not just me sitting here across the table from you saying that you're going to be okay, or hey, I am undetectable, means I'm untransmittable. Hey, my viral load is low, my T cells are high. It's literally, it's here. And also, beyond condoms, you can take this, and this is another measure. And it allowed me to get through to people who are, especially in the heterosexual community, not knowledgeable about this, ease them in and let them feel more comfortable and have like a more open discussion and it's something for them to kind of want to confide in me and want to be with me.
It is the single biggest advancement made in this disease state
For sure.
in the last 30 years. It's massive, but yet you still have a group of people that don't think it's right, think it encourages promiscuity, other STDs.
Yeah.
Even gay men who are scared to take it for what may be perceived if they take it.
Well, that's what I actually wanted to ask you, Tyler. You blog about this. You're very vocal about this, which I appreciate. But there are people who still see this wonderful pill, this science-backed pill, as a pathway to a rise in STIs and promiscuous sex. So what do you say to those people who, and there's a rather sort of somewhat vulgar term, slut shaming, for people who go, oh, look, now you're just going to go out and be a slut to the wind and pick up all these other things. What do you say to
the
that
reality.
argument?
People like sex. They should like sex. They should enjoy sex. HIV is a very real fear. It's a very real thing that gay men and straight men and women face. The ability to lower the fear and to make something that's supposed to be enjoyable, to make someone not fear something that is human nature, is not a debate to me. It's just a no-brainer. Right. Also, it's saving lives. So I say to them, I don't understand I understand perhaps the debate around it, everything should be debated, but at the end of the day, this is about preventing a disease and making people happier.
Yeah, and for you, can you just explain the process to people out there? I don't think they realize you don't just get the pill and start swallowing it. Yes, in California now, you don't need a prescription to get PrEP, but you have to get checked regularly and you have to have blood work and all that. So explain how that works.
Every 3 months, I'm going to the doctor, getting my blood tested, and that's a full panel. It's not just for HIV, it's for all STIs. And I thought in the beginning that was really great because, first of all, that was, before I even knew about PrEP, the initiative for me and like the fear for me was going to get tested. Like I used to just like sit there the whole time like kind of shaking, like, oh, I've got like gonorrhea or chlamydia or something. And so getting tested on a regular basis, I think, is just really positive in general for all people. Also, you're getting your blood tested for any irregularities in kidney function and things with your stomach and things. So it's a very healthy process. And what I love about PrEP, even now that they've made advancements too, is the common misconception when people are like, oh, I'm not taking it, it's too expensive. Boo, you get it for free. Even if you don't have insurance, you can qualify to get it through the Gilead program for free. And even me with insurance now, I get it for free with the Gilead prescription card.
Yeah,
so
the drug companies have those copay, and there are program assist. What about in the heterosexual world? Is it a hard sell to the heterosexuals and to females out there to say, here's this pill? After all, if you only need to go back a couple of decades when there was the whole debate about women going on birth control and the pill, it was the same kind of reaction. So you would think maybe because women had that movement that maybe this would be an easier pill to swallow. Is that the case?
I feel like it's still a hard pill to swallow when I tell someone that I'm heterosexual and HIV positive, and in the heterosexual community in general, understanding HIV from a way that's far more to grasp, it's still a climb. And so to then add this extra thing, it definitely eases a lot of people's mind. It allows people to be more comfortable with the idea that there is this thing out there that they can take that can help them. I think just the education on heterosexual transmission is still not as widespread, that getting to that point is a bit difficult.
Well, I think that's a whole other episode. That's a whole other
It's
episode
also
of Plus
scary.
Talk
I mean,
about sex education.
We have to acknowledge it's scary to take a pill that you haven't taken before, that
Yeah.
you know is to treat HIV. You've heard stories around what that
Trusting it. Yeah.
medication can do. So that's where the education should be. That's where the conversation should be, is letting people know how that pill works, what it does to your body. It's not going to harm you. It is preventative. Because that's a fear. That's a very real fear and a valid fear. I think the fear around people having more sex is ridiculous.
Yeah, when you hear these sort of arguments and disputes going on, Patrick, how does that make you feel?
Arguments and disputes around
About the slut shaming and this is just going to lead to you being a whore around town.
Yeah, listen, I think different people have different relationships to sex and intimacy. Me, for example, I grew up in the South. I come from conservative parents. For me, like, even just the idea of having sex, I felt like I was, like, shaming my parents.
Which is the most ridiculous thing, because clearly your parents had sex because you wouldn't be sitting here. And I've
Allegedly.
said this, I've said this so many times on this show and elsewhere. It's the one thing that every living creature on this planet actually likes and has in common is sex. We all
But
do
yet
it.
it's the one thing.
But it's the one thing
we can't talk about. We get
can't
scared
talk
of.
about,
We make people.
But we're
shame
getting there.
people.
We are getting there.
Most of my life convincing myself that wanting sex was okay and wanting sex with my partner was okay for me to have that desire, because growing up with it, I felt like, wow, here's somebody who's finally accepting me. Finding those people are so few and far between in my community that me wanting to then have regular sexual relationships felt like I had to put the ball in their court, because I'm like, this is a person who's taking a risk. Every time they're with me, I can't ask for more, or I can't want more. I have to go by their rules. And luckily, with the way that education has been and the way that we've grown as a society, that fear and that feeling has subsided over the years more and more and more, to the point of I'm more okay and comfortable being like, I'm allowed to have sexual desire.
And more comfortable telling people.
Telling
about
people,
it. I think
exactly.
what this pill has also done is allowed more people to share their status. Because if you've ever shared your status and had someone walk away, you don't want to do it
Well,
again.
no, I think the three HIV positive people at the table can speak to that feeling of the anxiety of having to disclose, and seemingly having to disclose every single time.
That's
it's worse than coming out of the closet. We've only got a couple of moments left, so I want to go around this table, and I want you all in your individual roles as who you are and how you live your lives to state your personal case for PrEP. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, go for it.
PrEP is a life-saving drug that's changing the face of HIV and has the potential to eradicate it. And that's my case for PrEP.
Okay, thank you. Patrick?
I just love that I have friends that are in relationships with an HIV negative man and an HIV positive man. And I think there's something so beautiful about that there is no stigma, there is no shame, there is nothing around it that's wrong. And these people can live normal lives, which is what this drug does. It allows you to live a normal life just like everyone else.
Great.
PrEP is an extra protection, and that's all we want. Protection and comfort and safety. And it's something that is allowing us to feel confident to be in love and be with the people we want to be without that fear. Why not?
Why not indeed? Patrick Hardigan, Joseph Kibler, and Tyler Helms, thank you all for joining me on Plus Talk.
Thanks for having
This has been a really interesting and far too short conversation. If you want any more information about anything we have talked about in this episode of Plus Talk, just follow us at Plus Life Media across social media. You can also go to pluslifemedia.com. That is going to do it for this episode of Plus Talk. Throw these away. We're going to talk a little bit more off to the side, and that content will be up soon. But until next time, see you later.